Logged in to In the Mix Radio. In the Mix Radio.
What up? What up?
What's going on? What is
Yeah,
going
I'm back. I know I
on?
wasn't here last week, but Dwayne held it down.
Let me move this chair.
I'm back. Oh, look at this little filter I have on my Instagram. It's nice. Cool. So what is up? Oh, goodness. Hey, people. Can we get another hand clap, Erica? I just need that. I just need that right now. Because that is... I need a hand clap because we both been moving and shaking, right, D?
Yeah, man.
So,
we making it happen.
clapping for you.
Thing, and clapping for you.
For sustaining last week and also still, hustling like you do.
Yeah.
Trying to make the dream and the vision come into fruition.
Yeah, it's
Not
happening.
trying, but making the dream and fruition come into pass.
There you go.
Right,
I got your
right,
back.
because
Don't
I
worry
said
about it,
fruition.
I got your back.
But yeah, so happy to be here. So what episode is this tonight?
It's the 30th episode.
30 episodes.
Yeah, this is
How many weeks is that?
30.
Oh, we're not going to do the math. I'm a writer.
We got to do some division.
Yeah, right. Well, we don't need to do all that.
Yeah.
But 30 episodes.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's super dope.
It's so dope because it was just a conversation. Actually, I'm not going to say just a conversation because you need to have conversations to have your juices flowing.
Mm-hmm.
So starting the conversation just allowed us to speak it into existence. And now we're 30 episodes in.
Yeah.
Can I get a hand clap, Erica?
30.
Just something about those hand claps.
Yeah.
Kudos. That's what's up.
30 episodes.
Yeah. So we're live. We're live on inthemixradio.com.
Yes, we are.
Streaming on Facebook, streaming on Instagram, my Instagram as well as Dwayne's Instagram.
Yes, we are.
So hopefully you are tuning in. You're tuning in. And if you did not purchase our book yet, you can because it is available.
Yes,
Meeting
it
the
is.
authentic you, the
Yes, it is.
inspiration for our podcast this evening. Right?
Yes, it is.
Tell them what our book is about, Dwayne.
It's just authentic, transparent, real conversations that me and my sis Wit have been having and still continue to have.
Yeah.
In a time when we needed to have these conversations with each other, with ourselves, in order to help each other overcome, heal, become aware, become more confident in ourselves, and push past a lot of the things that was trying to prevent us from being where we now are. So that particular book is just one of that. I guess that's our baby. With
This is the baby. Hey,
you know,
baby.
Don't take this analogy the wrong way, right? But it's kind of like ever since we came together, we gave birth to this book, man.
I mean, keeping it real. We talk about purpose and purpose connections and purpose partners. You know what I'm saying? Because it's my friend, my brother, does not mean we can't produce.
Right.
Right.
So that's the inspiration for the show. Our book, Meeting the Authentic You. It's just conversations that Whit and I were having with one another, and we decided to turn it into a book. And here we are 2.5, 3 years later after writing that book, going into our second book. Well, we're not going to give you that yet.
Not yet.
Even though we have covered it in previous shows. But check us out. Get a copy of the book if you haven't gotten it yet. Meeting the Authentic You.
Right here.
Meeting the Authentic You. Conversations with
here.
Whitney and Dwayne. Inspiring messages to help you meet you.
Yes, sir.
You want to make sure you get a copy of this book. I'm pretty sure that there's something inside of this book that will help you see some certain parts of yourself that you probably haven't looked at. We got some workshops and some work to do inside of the book, right? We got some what we call that again? I was gonna say a workshop, but it's not a workshop. Worksheets. There we go. Worksheets. We got some questions inside of the book that you actually can write in the book, or you get you a journal, get you a diary, and actually get to work with some of the questions.
Yeah. I was gonna say what journal they can get.
Oh yeah, me, myself, and my season.
All right, I should have brought
for my
mine.
wife
I have
to be.
4 of them.
She has her journal out.
I brought
You could
3 or
definitely
4.
go on.
It's hot. I love it.
Oh man, she's gonna
God,
kill me
what's
for
it?
not remember this.
God, what did I order it from? Ooh, I forgot.
Hopefully she's listening. She could call in and give us that information. So she could let everybody know. Oh, that's bad. Oh, whew, please
That's
forgive
okay,
me.
but but the thing is that the thing about it, they can contact you and they can contact me.
Yes.
So to get the journal, actually, I'll bring the journal in next week, so we'll have it because I purchased 4. You know.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I
And
purchased
thank you
4
so
of
much,
them.
Whit, for doing
No, and that's what we do. We got to support each other because we're a community.
Right.
And the thing is that I'm not successful unless I'm pulling up my brothers and sisters. Feel me?
Right.
So, yes. So, Me and the Authentic You can purchase it on any online book retailer.
That's right.
Go to the stores, go to Barnes & Nobles, hit Amazon, Ingram Books. Wherever books are sold, you can get our book. So, thank you for all those who supported us thus far with this book.
Yes.
Thank you. Just thank you so much.
Yes.
You know, thank you for the love.
Yes. Thank you all so much for the comments. Everybody who has supported us, we definitely appreciate you guys for journeying with us with this Meeting Authentic You. It's been a blessing, man, and it actually inspired us to do what we are doing now also. Let them know about what we got coming with.
Well, are you talking about the new book?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the new book, I'm so excited because if I can show you this, I'm not going to show them right there. That's right here. But I'm excited. It's called Don't Drop Out on You. I'm going to say that again. Don't drop out on you.
Yeah.
So many of us allow circumstances, situations, people, things to second guess ourselves, where we get to a place where we get into depression, we have anxiety, panic attacks, feel like we're not good enough, feel like we're not worthy enough, and then we start to drop out on ourselves.
Yes, we do.
Right? And sometimes we pay attention to everybody else's plate instead of looking at our own plate, and which can get us off course. And that's just like giving up on ourselves. And this book is phenomenal. I think this is the best out of I don't know.
It's one of the best.
It's one of the best.
It's one
right?
of the best.
It's one of the best. So
we got a lot more to come.
Yeah, we got worksheets in this book as well. So you're going to be doing the work as you're reading.
Yeah.
Because we have to do the work in order to heal. We have to do the work in order to push our pain into purpose, right? Or turn our pain into purpose. So this book is so dope. It's intergenerational.
Yeah. Say that term again for the people.
Intergenerational.
Explain what that means.
So you can basically get it for your elementary, not elementary.
There you go.
Middle school kids, high school kids.
There you go.
You 25, you 18, you 45, 50, 60, 70. It crosses boundaries, age boundaries. There's no age limit on this book. Anyone could benefit from this book.
That's right.
Right?
So
when is it dropping?
Be on the lookout for this book.
When should they look out for?
We want to have it for you guys in December, but we may have it for you guys at the beginning of the year.
We're going to have it.
Okay, there we go.
Because we got to change our language, right?
There you go. So we want to have it for you. We will have it for you guys.
There we go.
Maybe before the year ends, most definitely at the beginning of the year. That's more appropriate. The process is somewhat of a tedious one, but
it is.
Best believe it's coming. The book is coming. Our next book is coming. Don't drop out on you. You want to make sure you get this book in your hands because, as my sis Whit just described, it is an
intergenerational.
There you go. Intergenerational book. Anybody can read it. Your child, yourself, the seniors, whoever. It doesn't matter. There's something inside of there that will help you, see you, inspire you, heal you, make you aware of you, and then help you envision something better than what you currently may be struggling with. So you want to make sure you get a copy of our next book that we got coming out. Let's get into it.
So,
what's next?
Your Vibe With Me movement, because now I see that we're in the winter seasons, or we're still in fall, but actually today was beautiful.
Yes, it was.
We're in fall. You have your sweatshirts now.
It's popping.
Dope. I love it.
We ready. We got the orange and the blue in the building right now. You want to make sure you put your order in right now. It's hoodie season. It's hoodie season.
Hoodies,
it's
come out and
season.
play.
So you want to make sure you get your order on. You can contact me on Instagram or Facebook. The sweatshirts is popping right now. People are kind of like, yo, man, I'm loving what you got going on. You supporting, you helping me big time. Early in the morning, I'm rocking with your videos, man. You helping me. I'm reposting the videos. Yeah, there, top of the morning. There it is. There it is. Get your energy together when you do that. You need a special kind of energy when you do that right there because it's just important to help people start their day with the right energy.
It is, and I have to commend you on being so consistent with those videos because it takes a lot of work. It takes and then consistency pays off, and you're giving of yourself every single morning just to hopefully to help somebody else. If it's one person or two people that you touch, you done did your job.
Short story real quick, Whit.
Go ahead.
Shout out to the Vibe With Me Army, right?
Hi, Vibe With Me Army.
So this afternoon, when me and my bro EX, we was doing a trailer for our new show that we got coming. I'm not gonna put the title out yet, but it'll be up and we'll be to work next Thursday, right? But we came outside to get some shots, right?
I like them pictures you're taking too.
Thank you. And it was a brother who was jogging. Now I'm not really paying attention, but it was a brother who was jogging, right? Shout out to the brother who was jogging.
You said D-Gram?
I should have stopped. You? Yeah, I should have stopped him and asked him what his name was, but he was jogging. He was in run. He wasn't in no light jog. He was jogging, and I guess clearly I caught his attention, and he ran past, and something must have been going on in his head, and he came back and said, "Yo, man, wow, man, keep doing what you're doing, man.
That's
You help me out every morning, man." So shout out to the good brother,
jogger,
to the jogger this afternoon, man, who stopped his
up.
run to acknowledge me and show me some love, and just say, you know what, man, I love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and he just continued to just keep jogging. So once again, shout out to everybody who's participating with this Vibe With Me movement, supporting the Vibe With Me movement, healing, connecting to God for yourself, and you're finding out what God has you to do because of this Vibe With Me movement. Salute to everybody, man. Continue to tune into these videos every morning, tired, frustrated, overwhelmed, grieving, mourning, broke, whatever the condition is, whether sunny, fall, winter, spring, snow, rain, I'm up by the grace of God, by the mercy of God, by the power of God, giving you guys what it is that I believe God gives me. So shout out to the Vibe With Me movement.
Yeah, we got a lot of announcements tonight. We go in with these announcements and thanking you guys and letting you know what's going on with us before we get into the topic of conversation. And trust me, the topic of conversation tonight is going to be as dope as the previous, right? Transformative as the previous. But before we go there, I got to let you know about the Go Get It Women's Empowerment Conference, 3rd annual.
Can we get a round of applause, Erica, for this 3rd annual?
Yeah. I'm going to stand up.
Woo! Yeah, the 3rd annual.
That's what I'm talking about. Third annual. God gave me this vision.
The 3rd annual.
God gave me this vision years ago, and I said to myself, God, I don't have the money. This vision is so big. It was so crazy, and God just said, do it. Step out on faith. Right. It's a God vision, right? I'm going to provide the resources for you to make it happen, make those provisions. This is my 3rd annual conference. I'm so excited because
I'm proud of you, Whit.
Okay, let me get my tears together.
I'm proud of you, Whit.
Yo, we're sold out. Like sold out.
SOLDOUT.
Yo, for the first time, it's the 3rd conference. We're sold out, and this conference, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And this year is just going to be definitely a little bit different. We're still going to keep our same swag that we have going on. But the difference is that we have not our panel, but we don't have a panel, but we have transformative, powerful presenters. I call them power speakers, power transformative speakers, because they're going to make you dig into you so you can be the best you that God has been calling you to be. Yeah. They're going to test you. They're going to bring stuff out of you that you never knew that was even there. Yeah. You're going to walk out of this conference feeling like you can freaking touch heaven, okay? You're going to walk out of this conference knowing that you have those God-given gifts and talents. Yeah. And you want to share them with the world.
Yeah, tell them.
So I'm so excited at the New Rochelle Radisson in New York, obviously. It's Saturday from 10 to 5. We are sold out, and I had to actually turn people away. Wow. I was like, dang, man. Wow. I was upset about that. But it's a good problem to have. Right? So shout out to all my vendors. I love y'all for rocking with us this year. Yeah. All my returning vendors that have been with me since the first conference. Yeah. Thank you for everyone who purchased tickets. Thank you for everyone who just investing in themselves while still supporting small businesses. That's good. You understand what I'm saying? Because it takes a village, it takes a community, and it's all about just serving the people. That's good. About networking. So you have to spend money for you, and this year is celebrate you. Yeah, investing in yourself, and I'm so excited you're gonna be there because Dwayne is one of my transformational speakers. You got right. Let me call him. First year he was the facilitator of the panel. Remember? Yeah. This year he's speaking on what? The dangers of disconnection. This gonna be good. Oh man,
I'm so excited about these pieces I put together for this thing. With I kind of want to give.
Don't share. No, you no.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna be quiet.
You ain't sharing nothing.
I just wanted to give a little snippet of just like the 5 pieces that I want.
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
All right. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Shout out to everybody.
He can do it after the conference.
Okay.
But
I'll do that then. All right. We're gonna keep the people excited.
Okay.
We're gonna keep them inspired. Keep them wanting to be
Here's
there.
it. Thank you all.
But I'm definitely gonna be in the building. The 3rd annual. I'm proud of my sis with. She's stuck with it. She's still rocking with it. She's being
so
transformed
excited.
because of it. And wait, let me say this before we go to our next announcement, right? Mm-hmm. When you're not looking forward to nothing, you letting yourself go.
You better preach.
And when you're in your assignment, you're transforming.
I agree.
When you're not in your assignment, you're not transforming. Therefore, you're staying the same and getting worse at the same time. So I just wanted to say that. So shout out to you for sticking with your assignment, sticking with
Erica,
this vision.
Thank you. Give me some hand claps, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I gotta say that
because it's not easy when you're working in your. You're gonna be in your purpose. You're gonna walk in your purpose, walk in vision. But you're gonna have those challenges because the enemy knows what God has for you.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to deal with those challenges, deal with those obstacles, and it's not easy to pursue and to walk into your purpose.
That's right.
But when you're connected to the right people, connected to God first, the weight is a little bit lighter. But your perspective is different. Just put it that way.
That's good, Whit.
Your perspective is different, and it allows you to keep walking and dealing with those obstacles while you're in your purpose.
That's
because
good.
It's working all for your good. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. So spirit check.
Spirit check. Yo, Whit.
Your spirit's what?
I'm fired up.
Fired up.
I'm fired up right now. I am fired up. I am ready to go. I'm ready to be launched. I'm ready to get to work. I can understand, and I know a lot of people may not be familiar with this kind of language for people who are really not familiar with scripture and Bible and stories, right? But there's this verse in the Old Testament by from the book of Jeremiah. I understand when he said it's like a fire shut up in my bones now. I understand like that there's a fire right now that's going on in what the old folks would say in my members, right? There's a fire going on right now. And right now I'm experiencing a fire that I'm just ready to unleash to help so many people experience transformation, healing, breakthrough, right? And then be able to experience, here it is, to be able to experience God's norm. I'm in a place right now where I'm enjoying participating in God's norm, because the God I serve is not a God who lacks. He's not a God who's struggling. He's not a God who looks bad, man, regardless of whatever it is that's going on. So I'm fired up. How's your spirit? Come on, let's go. I want to get to the show.
Okay, I know. My spirit is on 10. I mean, I'm very excited for what God is doing. I'm excited for the place that I'm in, and I understand that I had to go through some pain in order to receive a breakthrough that I've been receiving. Yeah. In order, the art of letting go. I actually understand that now. Ooh. I understand that now, because since I've let go of some certain things or people, I've been attracting my vibration. Everything has been clear, and been cleaning my vibration, right? And I just been attracting the things that I've been desiring.
Oh man, ooh.
Because I had to let go of some stuff that I want to keep holding on to. But since I let it go, and I'm cleaning up all this inside, cleaning up my spirit and being in alignment, now I'm attracting what I haven't envisioned for myself. So I'm just excited.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Psalm 23, where it says, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. So what you are attracting is what's been following you all along. There we go. So let's get into it. So we done covered Go Get It. We done covered the Vibe With Me movement.
All right, here we go.
Real quickly, let's show them the prayer call, what we doing.
Oh, yeah.
Every Monday morning.
There we go. It's on the screen.
There it is. Every Monday morning.
That's it. Go ahead.
From 7 to 7:15, me and my sis, we have been doing our prayer calls for the last 5 years. Shout out to everybody who calls in every Monday morning from 7 to 7:15. We appreciate you guys, our 35 to 45 people who call in faithfully every Monday morning for prayer, talking to us, rocking with us, vibing with us.
You.
So we want to salute them and shout them out as well. But we also want to let you guys know that every Monday we are offering prayer. The call-in number is 515-739-1015. The passcode is 383. 812-662. You can call in for 15 minutes, and me and my sis Whit are going to give you 15 minutes, sometimes
Power.
16, 17, maybe 18, maybe 19 minutes of straight power. We're going to give you what you need to start your Monday and your week off with a word, with some prayer, with some encouragement, with some inspiration, with some truth, with some authenticity. And that's what we've been giving you guys, what God has blessed us to do for the last 5 years. So that's what we're doing. Real quick, Whit, shout out to everybody on your social media handles right now, and then tell them what your social media handle is.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up. You can hit me up on Facebook, Whitney Smith, Whitney D. Smith. I have 2 pages, but you can find me, trust me, on my Instagram. I am Whitney D. Smith.
Yeah.
Also, we have our convo with Whit and Dwayne. You can find us on that. Also, YouTube channel. Check us out, Conversations with Whitney and Dwayne.
Yeah.
You can also find us on SoundCloud. We're all over the place.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And my Instagram name, D.Graham, the number 3. D.Graham, Graham, and the number 3. That's my Instagram name. And my Facebook name is Mr. Graham. It's God's child. I'm going to have to change that to D.Graham3, D.Graham3, so everything is in sync. Nobody's confused. But I'm ready to get talking with.
What's going on?
What's going on?
This is our What's Going On
hey,
segment.
What's going on? Right
What's
on time.
going
Yeah.
on? What's going on?
What's going on with?
Ain't nothing but the Go Get It Women's Empowerment Conference.
There we
That's
go.
what's going
There
on
we
on
go.
Saturday,
There we go.
going
There
down
we go.
November
There-
3rd.
November
You got to be in the
3rd.
building.
November
10
3rd.
a.m. to 5 p.m. If you're trying to change your life and be who God's
Yeah.
calling you to be, you need to be in the building.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
feed you. The vendors are going to love on you with their products. Be in the building. That's all I got to say. We're sold out, though. I'll see you next year. Actually, no, next year is November 2nd.
Yeah.
That's the date. So November 2nd is the Women's Go Get It Women's Empowerment Conference. And we have a couple of facilities that we're interested in, and I'll let you guys know. It's going to be big at all. Oh, Jesus.
Okay,
let's
that's what
go.
I'm talking
All right,
about.
so topic.
Topic of tonight's conversation, once
Go ahead,
again,
Dwayne.
last week, my sis Whit was out in Texas
I was in
handling
Texas.
the business that she had to
A great
handle.
trip. Thank
Doing
you,
a
Texas.
great,
You've been
phenomenal
good to me.
job. She did a presentation out
was
there,
dope.
slammed it, killed it, murdered it, bodied it, inspired everybody while she was out there doing her
was a
1-2.
good trip.
I was out here taking care of what I needed to take care of. My
Right.
sis Erica was in the building with me, holding me down. We took care of the business. We had great conversation.
Good looking,
And
Erica.
last week's topic of conversation, what we discussed was dealing with rejection, abandonment, and neglect.
Ooh, I
and
got a
how do we
word.
deal with rejection, abandonment, and neglect? And then we kind of, we stayed on course. We never really deviated from the topic of conversation. It may appear that we may have went all over the place because we start talking about how not addressing it can lead or turn into mental health conditions that many people are also dealing with, that people are really also not addressing. So you really are adding additional stuff to the abandonment, neglect, and rejection that you're not dealing with, right? And then I talked about how we can combat it with sacrifice, surrender, and service. So we trying to combat today with combat the rejection, abandonment, and neglect with these 3 other things: surrender, sacrifice, and service. So we're going to have part 2 tonight, because a lot of people was chiming in on my Facebook and my Instagram. People had a lot to say about this topic of conversation, specifically in the context of relationships and how people are
That's the big
struggling
thing. That's the
in
big
their
thing.
relationships because of unresolved childhood issues that people are having and having a difficult time. Here's the word that we're going to focus on tonight. I'm going to let you go with. It's communicating. Many people don't know how to communicate how they feel and what's really going on with them because of these issues that many people are still wrestling, battling, and struggling with, which again is rejection,
You know what? What's
abandonment, and neglect.
Not to cut you off, but you know what's so interesting? You know, I'm a writing teacher at my school, right? And I have middle school students. And we just finished our poetry unit. To make a long story short, a lot of my kids are writing about rejection, and we're talking about relationships at the age of 12 and 13.
Wow.
So they start dating at that age. They start, finding out who they are and connecting with certain people. And the thing is, they're dealing with heartache,
Right.
and they're associating heartache with depression. They're starting and being in a place where they feel like they can't go on. So the thing is, as we grow as adults, because we don't communicate, right? Because we don't learn how to communicate kids growing up,
Right.
it spills into our adult life, and then we still have a harder time with dealing with the rejection and go into a deeper depression. Then you see anxiety happen,
Right.
and all these other things happen. So it happens when we are young.
Right.
You know, and it's sad, and I'm seeing it in my 12-year-olds. And I'm like, gosh, you know, they're dealing with a lot. And then imagine what adults are dealing with.
I think,
you know?
Two things. The blessing in that conversation right there, in that experience, is the fact that they have a forum that they can learn how to communicate what's going on with them emotionally, right? Mentally. And whatever the experiences are that's creating these periods and these episodes of rejection, abandonment, and neglect. That's the first thing. The second thing is we want you guys to call in. 914-969-6499 or 718-705-4959. You don't have to say who you are. That's fine if you want to be anonymous. And if you want to call in and you want to just share some perspective or maybe even some pain, share an experience about how difficult things have been for you in regards to relationships, in regards to how it is at work, if you even have a job or having a business relationship, business partners, and how these issues are affecting you and how you want some kind of perspective so that it can facilitate some kind of shift and some kind of change in your life. We want you guys to call in 914-969-6499 or 718-705-4959. We want to have an honest, adult conversation. The focus is never really about what somebody else did or didn't do. We don't want to stay stuck there because we can't heal there. We can discuss there, but we can't stay there. We want to bring the focus to ourselves so that way we don't continue to expect people to be a certain way with us when we have the power to change who we interact with.
You know what, too? And then once if your focus stays on that person, stays on that hurt, you giving that person power, you giving that pain power, you're feeding into that, you're investing into those people.
That's good, Whit.
You're investing into that pain. You don't want to invest into that pain. We can't invest into that pain, so the focus has to be on us and being aware of how we combat that pain. All right. So that's why it's so important that we leave that those people or that the pain itself and not focus on that. Investing and focusing on what we need to go through.
So last week I also briefly kind of mentioned we covered a lot, right? It was a good brother by the name of Blaze, right? Blaze called in last week and he gave this term. He said deliberate practice, right? And I will never forget that language that he used. He talked about a deliberate practice, that you have to be deliberate in your practice. He actually pretty much paraphrased from a book that he's reading, or rather once read. And he talked about this deliberate practice, to actually be really just deliberate in your new practice, in your new disciplines.
Intentional?
Right? Yeah, pretty much, right? Intentional, discipline in your practice, right? Of whatever new things that you know you need to start implementing, so that way you don't allow yourself to remain in the space of abandonment, neglect, and rejection, because you start to realize that you don't really have a healthy relationship with yourself or a healthy relationship with other people. Sometimes what happens is, in my case, when I had this issue of struggling with abandonment, right, I tend to find myself hiding and helping everybody else, where I'm never really exposing how I really feel. And then when I do kind of expose how I feel, I kind of blow up, right? Because I'm too overwhelmed, because I can't carry everything else that everybody now is throwing at me, because I've conditioned everybody to throw it at me. So I don't know how to communicate that because underneath all of that is the abandonment issue.
Ooh, you know what? And I did the opposite. What I did was I invested back in my past and I put myself back in the hurt, back in the pain, because I was familiar with it.
Right. Oh, so we talked about that last week too.
Because you're talking about how you help people, helping. What I did was not help people. I medicated myself with some bad stuff.
Okay.
You know, with the distractions that didn't mean well.
That's
you know
good.
what I mean? Back to my past, those bad habits.
What I'm saying is good is the awareness that you now have of it, right? So that we can communicate how this affects us, right? And many of us sometimes, again, this is the reason for the show, right? Because many of us are really not connected to people where we having these kind of conversations. This is not topical conversation. 9 times out of 10 in today's times, and probably historically, what we always discussing is people, problems, and pain.
Right.
We're not really discussing ourselves. We don't mind having conversation talking about everybody else and whatever else is going on. We have a difficult time talking about what's really going on with ourselves. So this conversation becomes a healthy conversation to have because it puts you in a position to take a deep look at yourself. So when I say it's good with that you are actually able to have an awareness that this is something that you was doing, such as myself as well, right? Now we can put ourselves in positions to heal. Now we can put ourselves in positions to have honest conversations that can show us new possibilities, and we're not focusing so much on what happened, what didn't happen, who hurt us, who left us, right? And staying stuck in these places that's not helping us evolve, transform, grow, heal, and then become a better version of ourselves. And when we stay there, we do what we just talked about. She didn't verbalize this term, but what she did at that time, such as myself again as well, was I normalized the dysfunction. I normalized the toxicity. I normalized everything that was wrong, that wasn't good for me, but I made it normal. I made it acceptable because I didn't envision anything else bigger and better than what I normalized. And that's what happens with many of us. We find ourselves doing things that we know are not healthy and normal because we normalize these things because we have to find a way to deal with what we don't know how to deal with. And sometimes what happens is we get an attitude with people who offer us opinions and advice
because
and
you know
suggestions.
what? Because I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because a lot of people are not ready for that responsibility.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
It's
Because
true.
with healing, with being transformed, and all that, you gotta be ready for that because when you're trying to heal and get to another level and get past a rejection, it's going to cause you still some pain.
That's good.
You know what I mean? So the question is, are you ready to accept the responsibility to have to deal with or or have to deal with self? Because then we have to really take a look in the mirror. So are you ready to do that? Are you ready to take the mask off and look and say, you know what? What's going on with me? There's something in me that needs to be changed, that needs to be transformed. Are you willing to have that conversation with yourself?
That's good, Whit. That's good. You said this in an email that you sent for the conference, right? And I want to use this, not necessarily the email, but kind of like the example that you gave in terms of how people learn, right? People learn differently, right? So sometimes we can have a conversation, but sometimes you need something visual. You need an illustration, right? And the example that comes to my mind, because I've had this experience is, and everybody doesn't have this experience, but people who have, they probably can be able to speak to this or understand it. Even if you haven't, maybe you'll be able to wrap your mind around and maybe even see yourself in this example that I'm about to give real quickly. When I got locked up, right, initially you just immediately angry and frustrated and disappointed because you locked up, right? So you go from being arrested with handcuffs on you to being placed in the back of a cop car, right, to being inside of a precinct, to then being sent downtown, to then being downtown, going before a judge, and you don't know how long you're going to be in there. They have this term called bullpen therapy. So now you're dealing with the bullpen. You're dealing with the insanity of being in this bullpen. So you go from saying, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home, to then you go before a judge. And depending on what you got arrested for and locked up for, if it's a serious crime, when you know you're not going to be going home, then you find yourself going from saying, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home, to saying, I want to be housed, right? House me. Send me to the jail where I got to do my time, right? Because you start to realize you're not going home. And here's a big mistake that many brothers and sisters have made. Many brothers and sisters say, yo, you know what? I'm going to be here for a while. Just send me to where I'm going to be. And then you find yourself being so frustrated about being locked up that you never prepare yourself for your release. So what you end up doing is you just find yourself being frustrated about being locked up, and you be locked up for so long that what happens is you just say, yo, you know what? Just house me. You know, put me where I'm going to be for however long I'm going to be there, and then you find yourself just being there, and you never mentally prepare yourself for release. So for those of us who struggle with abandonment, neglect, and rejection, what you don't want to do is make the mistake that many brothers and sisters who have been arrested and incarcerated and locked up have made. What you don't want to do is you don't want to normalize being arrested by abandonment, by neglect, and by rejection. That's not what you want to do. Even if you have been, what you want to start to do for however long you've been there is you want to now start being open-minded to conversations that position you for your release.
So what I was saying before you gave me the hand.
No, I was giving you a pound. I thought you gave me a hand. Yo, I never leave you dry. Never that.
But listen, no, what I was going to say is that it brought a question. how are you preparing yourself for your release?
That's a good question.
How are you preparing yourself for the release?
I think the first one is which is what you already raised. You have to ask yourself, do I want to be released?
Yeah.
Do I want the responsibility that comes along with being released? And then you'll say, or rather be able to answer that question.
Oh, that's good. Let me talk. Let me say something to be a little bit transparent. You know, we all have faced rejection, right? But I have faced rejection. I had some, people walk out on me or whatever the case is. And the thing is that I wanted to hold on to the person that was walking out on me or whatever the case is.
Come on.
But the thing is that if I never allowed that person to just keep going, if I kept my hands on that because I was feeling rejected, because I was feeling shameful, because of that, I wanted to keep my hands on that. But if I never released myself, never took my hands off of it, I would have never seen what God has done thus far. So the thing is, the whole message is that rejection and pain is going to force you to keep your hands on something that you need to let go. Rejection, sometimes God will allow rejection to happen and people to walk away because that's not the person that's supposed to be going, or the thing is not supposed to be going with you to the next level. Okay, so when you keep your hands on something that God is trying to take you away from, you're going to keep yourself in a place of being stagnant and complacent and not living your best life. Once you let go and say, I'm going to deal with this rejection, I'm going to deal with this pain, I'm going to deal with this so I can get to what God has for me, trust me, there's a blessing on the other side. There's a blessing and a release on the other side. And you're not going to know that blessing. You're not going to be confronted or meet that blessing, meet your higher self, meet that release until you let it go.
Awesome. Powerful, right? And because here's what just rose up in my spirit as you said all of that, right? Somebody is listening and watching us saying, how do I identify whether or not I have these issues? I don't even know if I have abandonment, neglect, and rejection issues. I don't know if I have that issue, right? Here's one. I hope that this helps for the person who's in that space, because the spirit just came all over me with that energy right now. Because somebody's in that. Nobody never told me I got this issue, because sometimes we only know what issues we have if people tell us. We don't know if we have it on our own because we're really disconnected from ourselves. So all we know about ourselves is what people tell us about ourselves. Many of us, until we get to a place where we learn these things about ourselves for ourselves, right? So here's one thing. There's something inside of you. We tend to call it your intuition, right? We tend to call it your gut. We tend to call it spirit, whatever you want to call it, right? You can give it whatever name you want to give it. Something inside you tells you that you're doing something wrong or something isn't in agreement with your spirit every time you try to make something fit that's not fitting. You're trying to force something to fit that's just not fitting. For me, my example is those are indications right there that you are struggling with abandonment, neglect, and rejection. You're trying to make something, you're trying to force a fit. And when you got to force a fit, you have to ask yourself, why am I trying to force a fit? It's not fitting. It's not flowing. Why am I still trying to make something fit that's not flowing? That right there just may be your indication that you have an issue and you struggle with abandonment, neglect, and rejection.
No, that's a great example, because basically you're not, if it's not flowing, you're not connected. It's no longer connected to you. Right. It's no longer connected to your higher self, the purpose, the destiny, that the best person that's trying to come out of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not connected to that. So you're going to start feeling like, you're putting so much work in. I'm doing all these things and it's just not working. Right. You know what I mean? I'm off. It's not lost. It's not coming together. It's because it's not supposed to come together. You know what I mean? So that is a inkling, or that is a telltale sign. You know what? This is not supposed to be connected to me. I'm supposed to let this go.
So, and I love that, right? So here we go again, since we're giving great examples, right? And don't be ashamed or bashful to call in.
Come on, man.
914-969-6499 or 718-705-4959, right? So here we go, here's a classic example of what I believe you just really pulled out and highlighted for us, right? Check it out. Who I was at 20 is not who I was at 30. And who I was at 30 is not who I am now at 40. I had a lot of, and this is no disrespect to any of the people that was in my life at in my 20s and in my 30s and now at 40 years old. This is no disrespect to them, because truth of the matter is my abandonment issues, my rejection issues, my neglect issues had they had everything to do with the reason why I wasn't letting love me. They had everything to do with the fact that I was pushing people who was, good people for my life away from me, right? Not knowing how to be in relationship with these kind of great people. So I couldn't become this version of myself at 40, at 20. I couldn't be this version of myself at 30 because I was too busy dealing with these not dealing with these unresolved issues that I didn't know how to deal with. So my point, or rather to add to your point, is when you understand that you're trying to force something to fit and it's not fitting because it's not flowing, when it starts to flow, you start to become a better version of yourself. Yeah. You start to be more proud of who you are. It's not about who they are and what they aren't doing. Your measuring rod is who you was when you was 25, 35, 15, 55, however old you are now. Who are you now, and how comfortable you are with being yourself is how you measure the relationship. Who am I becoming as a result of me now dealing with these issues, or worst case scenario, who am I becoming not dealing with these issues? Because we tend to make the mistake to focus on what they doing or what they not doing, and we're not looking at who we can become while we're journeying with these people, whether it's flowing or not flowing. So this is the topic of conversation tonight. Learning how to identify the abandonment, neglect, and rejection, being able to help somebody who doesn't know whether or not they have that issue, or helping the people who understand that they do have that issue, but they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to deal with those issues because they've normalized being there for so long that they're not focusing on their release. So it's like, oh, you know what? I'm already in my 30s. I'm already 40. In my 40s.
It's too late.
You know what? It's nothing new that's really going to come from my life. So I'm just going to go to work. I'm just going to take care of the kids. I'm just going to. So it's like, I'm not looking forward to anything.
Because you know what? Because we have a tendency to reject ourselves.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
Say that one more time.
We have a tendency to reject ourselves.
Give me some more energy in saying that, please. Please, one more time. Please, I'm sorry, Whit.
Sorry. We have the tendency to reject ourselves.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? So when we say, oh, I'm 40, I'm 30, you're already rejecting you. You know, you're not accepting you. You're not accepting, we don't accept us for who we are at the time.
That's good.
You understand what I'm saying? So dealing with rejection and abandonment is difficult because we reject ourselves.
That's good, Whit. That is so good. And it's so powerful and it's so rich because this conversation becomes so touchy and so uncomfortable to have because you got to deal with you. Right? And that's not always a good.
Easy.
It's like surgery. The doctor says, yo, you know what? We got to have surgery. You're so discouraged. You're so depressed. You thinking worst case scenario. What's going to happen to me? I don't know if I'm going to make it through this situation.
Talk yourself out of it.
Oh, my God, I'm not going to do this. We just want to go to the doctor here. Everything is good and just go back to doing. No, as we get older, things are going to start to happen. Hopefully no time soon if that's not what you're dealing with now. If you are dealing with it, I'm sorry to use that as an example to help you take an honest, deeper look at yourself so you can start to deal with some of these challenges.
Right.
Because if you don't deal with them, worst case scenario, as I talked about last week, is we start to enter into mental health issues.
That mental health is real too.
We start to deal with bipolar, depression, anxiety, right? personality disorder, schizophrenia. We start to enter into some really, really other places that, you know what, money, a promotion on the job can't fix. A relationship sometimes is just not enough because now you're dealing with something mentally that you don't even know how to deal with. You didn't grow up with it. You never knew nothing about it. And now just so happen you're now having to deal with this situation. And now you can't control your mood swings. You can't control your behaviors. You don't know what to do. And now you're taking it out on everybody else because you don't know what to do. So these conversations are vital. They're essential. They're necessary. They have to be had because you're getting older. And you don't want to get older and become worse.
Nah.
That's an uncomfortable place to be in.
I always think that we transition longer than we're living. Do you understand? Do you ever think about that?
No, you said that to me years ago. I never forget that you told me that.
Yeah, like...
We're dead longer than we're alive.
We're dead longer than we are alive.
Even though I said I'm not going to use that word, but we got to say it in that context for the people.
I want to say transition.
No, it's fine.
But, we're dead longer than we're alive. And sometimes I'm thinking, do people really realize that?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it's not a thought, Whit.
And the thing is that it wasn't a thought for me years ago either. But it became a thought for me. Also, it became when I started transforming and even having these conversations is because we started having these conversations.
Right.
You start linking yourself up with like-minded people.
Right.
You start linking yourself up with people who are connected to God so these transformative conversations can happen.
That's good.
Because then you start to think, you know what? Oh, yeah, I am dead longer than I'm alive. I do have a purpose. I do have a destiny. I need to get going.
And even if I don't know what my purpose and destiny is, even if I'm not spiritually tuned in, because I think that I need to be religious and I need to go to a mosque and a church in order for me to have conversations as such, right? And maybe you do, right? And maybe you don't. But what we want to encourage you to do is at least start identifying people that you can at least have these kind of conversations to then put you on a path. Then you'll begin to find out a little bit more or a lot more than what you currently know, opposed to holding on to what you do know, which is not helping you transform into a better version of yourself. Because you know that you're not content with you. You know that you're not happy with you. You know that you're expecting other people to be for you what you need to be for you. You know these things. Good. You can deny them or get an attitude and get frustrated when people bring it to your attention, but you know within yourself that these are things that you have to start to confront, because if you don't, what's going to happen is it's only going to get worse. And we want to have a conversation to prevent those worst case scenarios. We're not coming on here to try to make you feel bad or worse or sad.
No, we have
the purpose of the topic, the purpose for the dialogue is to have conversations so that way we can help you transition. We can help facilitate a shift. That way you're not up all night. That way you're not walking around disappointed and aggravated and frustrated. That way you're a little bit more happier. You're feeling a little bit more lighter. You're getting better sleep. You're not experiencing aches and pains throughout your body.
And you're able to recognize when somebody's not good for you. You're able to recognize when the people around you that, you're able to recognize the right connections. When you're fully aware, you're not rejecting yourself anymore, and you deal with this pain, you're able to realize, you say, you know what? Nah, I don't want that person around me. You're going to start creating. Because we're co-creators, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
with God, you know what I mean? So your perspective starts to change, and people are going to know your aura. You're going to have this type of energy. So just some regular people are not going to just come around you. Yeah. You're going to start attracting who you are. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I understand, and I love what you're saying.
You really attract who you are.
And let's say it this way, Whit. Ain't you tired?
I got tired.
No. Let's just pause right there for a second. Ain't you tired of every day getting up, maintaining a routine that you don't even like?
That's stale.
Ain't you tired of that? Just let that sit in for a second. I'm sorry to remind you of it, but I gotta call you on it. Ain't you tired of that? Isn't that frustrating to every day get up and eat stale food? You know that bread is stale. You know it's green mold around it. You know them chips is hard. You know that Pepsi ain't got no fizzle in it no more. You know everything that you touch and you a part of is just not doing it for you no more. But you get up every day and you complain about what you got the power to change. Ain't you tired of that? If you are, because I know you are.
We co-creators.
Here's the conversation. Your next steps are to start identifying the people that can help you change what you tired of.
And you know what? Yeah, just being around some people that's trying to go to the next level and who are connected and in alignment. That's all. You don't even have to have conversation.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you just got to be in the building. You just got to show up, be in the room, be next. Ooh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Who's on the line? Talk to us.
I can help you.
Mute your background so I hear myself. Who's on the line?
Hi, this is Yamelia. I've called in a couple of times to your show.
Hey, Amelia.
Hey, Amelia.
Hi.
Hey.
I feel like my mom just came through Dwayne just now and
Wow.
spoke like was speaking directly to me, so I had to call in
Wow.
regards to relationships and just, being tired of the constant routine
Wow.
of just in that negligent, just bad place. And, I was with my children's father for 18 years, had 2 kids before we ended the the relationship. And I remember my mom, pulling me to the side, and she said, Yem, you not tired? You not tired of crying every day and being miserable? Like, you have so much going on for you. And yes, it's going to hurt, but you're going to be happy. Well, you just need to get over this hump. You will be happy. Your life will get better, but aren't you tired?
Wow.
Don't you want to change this?
Mm.
And the next day, the very next day, I called it off, and, and it hurt. It hurt. It burned. When I'm telling you, it burned my soul because my parents were together for 75 years. They both just transitioned this year, and they were together for 75 years. And she said, baby, what you looking for? What you think that you are creating what we have? That's not where it's at. This is not that man that's going to be with you for 75 years. And if it is, then you'll probably die before you hit 60.
Wow.
What was the process after?
And it really took that conversation to wake me up and to, shake me out of it and, to get me to rattle and roll and, deal with the hurt, deal with the pain, deal with my issues. I had so many issues that I wasn't aware that I had.
Wow.
Until I was able to remove myself from that situation. And my life blossomed and bloomed and changed tremendously. And people don't realize. They think that, I want my kids to have, 2 parents in the household, or, this person is going to help me do this, or nothing will get better for you until you identify your issues.
That's good.
Because, I was holding on to this man, not because he was helping me, not because he benefited me, not because I was beneficial to him, not because he was a good person. It's because I didn't want to be alone.
There we go.
So
I was afraid to be alone, but I needed to be alone. I needed to sit in that pain. I needed to grow. I needed that. I needed to be broken all the way down to build myself up.
Such rich, powerful
You said a lot of gems.
awareness,
Got so much
authenticity,
stuff to say.
and just thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Because Whit and I,
Yeah,
you've been vibing and rocking with us, for a bunch of episodes, and I thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah.
Because somebody who's listening or who will hear this episode and this show, they needed to hear you. They needed to hear that. There's a man who needed to hear that. There's a woman who needed to hear what you just said. So I thank you. Thank you
You're
for being
welcome.
able to surrender, to let go, and then trust. And I'm gonna use this term tonight because you just pulled this out of me. Trusting in not only God but in uncertainty. Trusting in the uncertainty that everything is going to be better than the reality. Oh, that's so powerful. Trusting in the uncertainty and believing that everything is going to be better than the current reality. That my reality, after I let go, is going to be better because I'm going to trust in the uncertainty. I'm going to sit in the pain. I'm going to envision in spite of the brokenness. I'm going to let this stuff that's killing my soul, that makes me think I need to hold on to this person who is not helping me transform into a better version of myself. I'm going to let that go and believe that I'm going to become something bigger and better than what I've currently been over the last 18 years. That's powerful. Because what you get a chance to do is you get to give your children more than what you gave them over the last 18.
Absolutely.
which is a greater, healthier, stronger, vibrant, loving mother, probably than a mother than you've been for those 18 years. Not that you was a bad one, but I'm more than sure that you're a better one, a vibrant one, a more alive one.
You know what? And I want to say something, that the fact that he was making you stagnant, he was making you complacent. The relationship was making it stagnant and making you complacent. Only reason why I say that is because when you let go, you was able to tap into you. You was able to tap into those things that wasn't healed. You was able to tap into meeting who you are. To meeting that higher self. If you would have stayed in that relationship, you would never met the best you that you are today.
Say it with.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You would never ever even met that person. So thank God you was able to let go. Because some of us women, we feel like because we're 30, we're 40, we know we have to be married. You know, y'all, I don't know if anybody knows that. I was engaged. I'm not engaged anymore, right? But some of us feel this pressure that we have to be in these places when that's not what God has for us right now, or with that person. And that pressure that keeps us to stay in those relationships for 18 years, stay in those relationships for a lifetime, that God says this is not for you.
That's good, Whit.
And then you wonder, like, why isn't, I have all these dreams, all these plans, and I'm trying my best to put everything into fruition. Why is nothing happening?
Yes!
I'm doing everything right. God, He got that package. It's ready, but it's on a conveyor belt. It's just waiting. God is not going to give you that package. You're not ready for it.
First, and also at the same time, you think you're doing everything right. It's because the person that's in your life that you are tied to is not connected to that next realm. So you're not going to get to that next realm because you're still holding on to what God is trying to tell you that you need to let go from. So it's not going to work. Because you won't take your hands off it, or we don't have the ability or the confidence, not the confidence, but the confidence to step out on that uncertainty, knowing that it's better than our reality.
That's good, Whit. That's good.
Absolutely.
I got to commend you, sis, because
Thank
a
you.
lot of us will still stay in those relationships because of what society tells us, what our friends tell us, what our parents tell us, because we have kids. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
for
took
sure.
you to get, and say, you know what, that conversation with your mother, to remind you who you are and who she gave birth to. You feel me? Because she knows that she saw something. She knows what her daughter has. You came from good stock. 75 years. They was married for, what's it, 75 years, you said?
75 years.
75 years, this is not how a relationship rocks. God has something better for you. Because she know who she birthed. So she spoke into your life because she saw what God... I'm sorry, I'm about to go.
She said, you know what? She tried. And she said, after a while, she said, I'm just going to let you try it your way. And when you realize that your way is not working, you'll come back.
The prodigal daughter.
Yeah,
The prodigal daughter. There, that's all over. Go ahead. Go ahead. Take all this money. And the money in that case was the wisdom that she gave you.
Right.
You know what? It took however many, whether it was 18, 15, 14, or 13, 10 years of being able to sit in that pig pen and say, what am I doing? And then you had the moment where you came to yourself and said, hold up. This is not it. And this is in the relationship. Again, we don't have a lot of time. We got 3 more minutes left. But I got to say this, though. I got to say this before we wrap this thing up, right? The relationship was the surface issue. I love what you said underneath the relationship was you had so many issues that you didn't know you had.
That was powerful.
And the relationship became the hideout. So the relationship didn't work out because it was a hideout probably from the start. I thought it was a situation I was supposed to be in because we had kids and I was trying to make it what I grew up seeing. But it never was what it was supposed to be because I never addressed whatever these issues was that I came to the relationship with in the first place. So I love that also part of the conversation because that is the reason for this topic of conversation tonight. The topic for tonight is to learn how to identify those issues that many people don't know that they have.
Yes.
So when we learn how to identify it, then we can learn how to address it, and then we can learn how to communicate with the right people that help us heal, become aware, and then entertain, or rather be introduced to new possibilities, so that way we don't die in some of these situations because we never become aware that we have them in the first place.
Leave it right there. We might have to do a part 3.
I'm with it. But I thank you so much
for calling
You're
in.
welcome,
calling
guys.
in and giving us this
so much stuff in
information.
us.
Yes, and there will be a part 3. We got a minute left. Thank you all for calling in. We're going to close out
Thank
with a
you,
quick
love.
prayer.
Welcome.
God,
Have a
we
good
thank
night.
you for another opportunity to have a conversation tonight,
Yeah.
to minister to your people, to love on your people, to teach your people, to just have
you, God.
authentic, transparent, real conversations, God, where we get a chance to
Thank you
just
for the
give you the glory, to just tell the people how you kept us in spite of what we went through and what the pain we went through before we connected ourselves back to you. So tonight we ask you to bless and heal and restore everybody who feels disconnected from you and they don't know what their purpose is. They don't know what's next. All they know is their pain, and all they know is who's hurting them. So help them heal, help them transform, help them become who you need them to be, so they can become, or rather do, what you created them to do, and then they can have all that you have for them to have. God, we
want
love
what
you
you have
so
for
much.
us.
And forgive us for listening to people more than we listen to you.
Thank you, God.
In Jesus' name, God, we
We
pray.
pray. Amen.
Have
See
a
y'all
blessed
next week. Go get it.
Yeah, go
Empowerment
get it. We
Conference. All right, next week.
We in the building.
out.
Episode 30. Shout out to
30.
everybody on Facebook, Instagram for rocking with us another episode. We thank you guys so much. Thank you so